r/AskReddit, what screams I'm a bad parent? Never saying sorry to the kid when the parents make a mistake. Using children as pawns in divorces or separations. I don't know if this really screams it, but I absolutely hate when adults tell other adults their children's shameful secrets for no reason. Even strangers. It tells me those children probably don't feel like they can trust their parents. Treating your kid as your therapist. Blaming your own mistakes and regrets on your kids. You're the reason I'm stuck with your father. Sure, mom, sure. Making your child think they aren't good enough. Parents who can't apologize to a child. It's okay to have human emotions and moment to be triggered or struggling and lash out or be wrong, but for the love of all things good, apologize and change. Ironically, never thinking you're a bad parent. Demeaning your children as means of punishment. Your own children being afraid of you. No child should be afraid of the person that looks after them nearly 24/7. Using your kid as therapy and then getting upset when they have issues regulating their emotions. Zero interest in the kid. Doesn't care what they do or what happens to them as long as they don't inconvenience them. Yelling at the kid for every trivial thing. Being addicted to meth. Triangulation. After divorce, one of our parents immediately weaponized our relationship against the other. I'm 32 and still unweaving all of the details in my brain. Edit, it hurts my heart to know so many can relate. But it warms my heart to be reminded that I'm not alone. Heartsuit. I was molested from age 3 to 6. Told my parents, but they did nothing. In my 20s, my mom had the audacity to tell me that I asked for it. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have a mother anymore. I volunteer at / have had student placements at a children's hospital, and we've had patients with serious brain injuries due to abuse, shaking, attempted drowning, etc. So yeah, I'd say those parents are pretty bad. Treating your son as the man of the house because you're single. The infantilization of their children. Wanting them to stay helpless babies forever because they don't want them to grow up. I'm a nanny and it seems like a growing trend. It's one thing to engage in some infantile behavior or spoil your children a little. It's another thing to bend to every whim and not make your kids uncomfortable. Example with some kids I'm currently dealing with, not potty training them. Not correcting your kids. Saying you're too young to be depressed and ignoring red flags from mental illnesses. Invalidating your child's feelings, struggles, and / or mental illness in favor of you don't know what struggling really is, or some form of back in my day, or you kids are so weak. You have just robbed your child of support, told them their feelings do not matter, and informed them that you are not a safe person to confide in. Saying things like you're such a disappointment, I wish I had a daughter instead, you ruined my and your mother's sex life. This is stuff I heard for years. Your adult children don't talk to you. Thinking that small children are just selfish tiny adults. Your kid isn't asking for stuff because they are selfish, mostly weary, excluding their occasional manipulative tendencies. They are doing it because they are 5. Don't be a dick to your kid because they are asking for support / help / food. Your kids never visiting once they move out or go to college. Always believing they're right because they're the adult and therefore not letting the child have any say. Not believing in telling your children no. The world will and should tell them no at times. They need to be prepared for that reality, or they will be an absolute menace to everyone around them. Telling your kid that you need them only for their money in the future. Pulling out a 12-gauge shotgun when I don't listen. Attacking the self-esteem in any way. Yelling at your kids. I don't mean hey. Get off the counter. Or stop. You're gonna fall. I mean screaming things like what is wrong with you? Or do you even try? When you get mad and get loud you are doing three things. 1. Teaching them that people are allowed to yell at them and say awful things to them, they should accept that treatment. 2. Lowering their self-esteem. Whatever you are saying to them they will believe. If you say you're so lazy it will not motivate them to be less lazy, it will simply force the lazy trait upon them. 3. Teaching them that they should always avoid serious conversations with you. You are not a safe person to talk to. Edit typo. Downplaying their mental health struggles and taking years to realize that your child is suicidal and desperately needs help. Not giving the kids rights/privacy. Automatically dismissing and invalidating many of your child's opinions because you think since they're a child, they don't know anything. Yes, they're not always right, but they're still people and should be treated with respect. Was in McDonald's the other night, a dude came in after midnight and was there for over an hour, clearly buzzed and seemingly in no hurry. I go to leave, out in the parking lot is this little girl, can't be more than 2 to 3 years old, bawling her eyes out and trying to climb out of the back seat of a car. It's less than 20 F outside and all the windows on the car were up. I run over expecting her parents to be in the car, stopping traffic as I go so the kid doesn't get run over and nobody is in the car isn't running and is nasty. A McDonald's employee who was also watching all this, and I take her into the McDonald's and no sooner than we get inside, the dude who has been just chilling for over an hour comes up and snatches the little girl and cusses her all the way back to the car she climbed out of and drives away. I am not a violent man, but I contemplated at least 3 felonies in the time it took for him to drag her back to the car. JS. TLDR, you see the worst parenting at McDonald's late night. When one of your mom's boyfriends touches you when you're a 14-year-old girl and you tell her, and she says don't flirt with my boyfriend. Years later you bring it up and she says I don't remember saying that. Having too many kids or more than you can afford and raise yourself, so you make the older child or children take care of the little ones so they stop being children because they have to be like a second set of parents. It's not fair. Using the "I put food on your table" argument when the child points out your disrespectful behavior. Honestly speaking, verbal manipulation and humiliation. I had great parents but my cousins did not. My aunt has an elder daughter and a son. She used to verbally abuse her elder daughter in front of everyone. She even used to hit her in front of everyone. Mind you, this was when she was 18. 10 years later we were reminiscing our childhood. The daughter is pretty successful with a startup, but she pretty openly said in front of everyone, even the aunt, that the trauma a child faces that young isn't healthy and that even if she loved her mom, she wishes her mom treated her better. My aunt just shrugged dismissively, remarking this generation is too soft. Ironically, the younger son is spoiled as fuck and hit my aunt back when he was 18 in retaliation of being accused of selling cocaine in his school, which he did LMAO. Nevertheless, he was sent to Canada to study business and rarely talks with my aunt. Life is weird. Remember, the opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. If you see kids being neglected, or ignored, or not cared about at all, that's a good indication that their parents/s aren't good. Leaving your kid home while the rest of your family goes to France for Christmas. When it's Christmas and you're glad you don't have to see them. When the best gift they can give you is their absence. Helicopter parents. I've had several friends and other acquaintances whose parents were incredibly strict and controlling, and those friends were the most emotionally unstable, reckless, and chaotic people I've ever known. Edit. And I don't want to give the impression that I think it's a cut and dry smother your children and they'll end up delinquents kind of situation. I just found that whenever I encountered young adults who were recently freed from their parents who controlled their every move growing up, most often they turned to some wacky shit that they never would have gotten away with as a kid. On that note, my parents were beyond slack when raising me, and I could have gotten away with a lot of stuff if I'd had any desire to rebel, but I really didn't. Constantly deflecting parental responsibilities to other people, groups, or organizations. My stepsister to her 8-year-old daughter, "It's not my job to help you with your homework, that's what teachers are for." Hugging your kid while only ever looking at other people's reaction and the kid doesn't quite look that comfortable with it. Hugging the kid in a manner which looks like theater performance basically rather than actual affection. Only ever claiming their kid is the best and brightest and only ever talking about their school/studies and nothing else. Dismissing the kid's POV by default without even listening to anything the kid has to say. Recording your child while they're having a meltdown/tantrum and posting it on social media, for likes, clout, assurance, or whatnots, no idea what they're thinking, instead of helping them to regulate their emotions and understand what causes the emotion, how to deal with it, and that there are appropriate ways to communicate your feelings. Giving your oldest child nothing but shower gel and a 20 pounds note while simultaneously giving the younger siblings born from a different mother over 100 pounds worth of presents each on top of 300 pounds in notes. This is the life my partner lives. Edit. To clarify, the youngest sibling is 18 and was given a new phone, an iPad, a new gaming console with 10 different games and 200 pounds in Christmas money. Meanwhile, my partner was barely given anything aside from the aforementioned shower gel which hadn't even been wrapped and 20 pounds. Being a helicopter parent. Let your kids experience failure, let them make mistakes, let them get hurt, mildly. That is how they learn. Let them make their own choices. You don't have to let them choose which of 20 shirts they want to wear, but give them 2 to 3 appropriate options and let them choose. Comparing your kids to other children. Screaming at your children. I am all for disciplining children and correcting bad behavior, but screaming is beyond unnecessary and can cause trauma, even when they grow up. Take it from someone who had screaming parents, I still suffer from it. Thankfully I have a much better relationship with them, but I'm still affected by it whenever I hear someone raise their voice. Needing to beat your children to discipline them, if they won't behave without a beating, I feel there is an underlying issue. When you beat your kids over the slightest of mistakes, calling them stupid and being a raging alcoholic. A bad parent is also someone who screams at you and blames you for their mistakes and tells you you're a mistake that you were born. A bad parent is someone who treats you like an investment. Those who molest their kids. Those who drown in drugs and alcohol and neglecting their children. Grossly decayed baby teeth. Using the saying, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it. Shit names. Your child has to live with the name all their life. Don't call them Bobby or Timmy as their legal name, it's not cute anymore when they're older than 5. Don't call them Keely or shit like that because it's extra creative and my child is extra special. And don't call them Khaleesi, because Game of Thrones is only your hobby, not the one of your kid. Not letting your kid talk to their doctor. I tried talking to my doctor twice about trouble falling asleep. At both appointments my dad would cut me off and tell the doctor it's just because he plays video games. The doctor would shrug and nothing was done. Food shaming, that's a slide into an ed and lifelong trauma. You can usually immediately tell if a child comes from a household like that or not. Picking favorites. Do this and that, why? Because I say so. If you don't explain your kids the why of doing things, then you treat them like little servants and they grow up either submissive or rebel but never good. Saying yes to everything instead of teaching them how to handle being told no. Constantly insisting that your child is back talking when they're trying to explain you hurt them. I once met a father and his teenage children, who were expected to, and did, address him by his professional title, Dr. So and so. Throwing the things said parent has done for their child, such as sending them to school and feeding them. Locking your child in a closet with a cat when they have a severe allergy. Hitting their children. Having a kid just for the sake of having one. Don't want a kid, don't have one. I don't care if your family guilt trips you. The parental instinct or the want to like kids is not a magical switch. An adult child who without any extenuating circumstances is not able to carry out the normal tasks of independent adult living. Teaching my parents will kill me if I don't fix this soon enough instead of I wonder if my parents could help me with this. Edit, guess we all have this experience in our childhood. Man, anxiety really sucks. Smoking in the car with the kids inside. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you have enjoyed this video and subscribe to never miss an upload.